Hello. Hello. Alright, so Azorian, fitting name, has used their tier 3 deck donation for the month on Blue White Control. Well, he let me choose. Gave me a couple of options. It was like Blue White Control and like a band variant, a couple of different builds. But this one looked the cleanest to me, and I was like, all right, let's try this one. So, back to our roots. Playing some Blue White. An interesting build of Blue White. We are not playing the ring. Not in this build. I am going to be trying a Blue White Control list with the ring. I've got over here. But we're not going to play that yet. We're going to try a build that's playing some stuff to maybe help against the ring. And playing card advantage spells that are not soft into Orcish Bowmaster's another card that is all over the place. You'll also notice the win conditions are mighty thin. No 5 mana Teferis here. So we are winning with combat damage through Solitudes, Hall, and a Celestial Colonnade. We also have a Kahira. So very, very hard control. It's just counter spells, removal, and a couple of creatures that are, 2-for-1s and whatever. We've got 4 Force of Negations to help interact with the ring, along with other things. I actually think Force of Negation is potentially pretty well positioned right now. And definitely a card I've got my eye on when it comes to control. I think control in general, specifically Blue-White control, is in a weird spot. I'm curious to see how it does with the ring, but especially without the ring, there's a... Modern is pretty dense with like red-black scam, but then other than that, it's like 4-color ring stuff, Tron ring stuff, mono-black ring stuff. It's like big mana, big value decks, and I'm a little worried about keeping up with them, but Force of Negation potentially lets us slam some, potent things or interact with one thing and then still have interaction up for another thing. I think Force could be decent. So we're going to try that, and then we are going to be trying a pretty potent combo that I haven't played too much in Modern. It's a bit more popular in Legacy, but we've got Narset Partervales and Days Undoing. Obviously, the synergy here being you get to draw 7, your opponent does not. They get to draw 1. So hopefully that massive card swap, card advantage play puts you in the driver's seat and you're able to close out that game. Now, the reason why I think this combo might be decent right now is Narset alone potentially pretty good. Narset's static ability, when the ring is drawing people so many cards, is potentially pretty good. She's a little bit awkward, she's not the perfect piece against the ring, because they can activate it on your turn, right? They can activate it on yours and draw a card. So it's still, that makes it a lot worse, right? If they have to draw it on your turn, they can only ever draw 1, and it's dealing damage and whatnot, But it is potentially a reasonable piece of interaction against that card, and then it happens to kind of be a little bit of a combo as well. We're pretty good at protecting her too, right? We can play her, and then Force Negations plus Solitudes are 0 mana waste to protect her. If we play her with a little bit of mana up, maybe we can protect her with Binding or whatever. So being able to play her, untap, and Days Undoing, not unreasonable. One thing I was thinking when I saw this deck list though was there's a couple of things that are maybe I would swap, but I want to try as is. I really think this deck wants for Teferi Time Ravelers. I think that card seems really strong here. I think it's really good in the format and the meta, and I think you want to be maxed out on those. I made one swap with the sideboard. There were 3 copies of Wear Tear. I did swap one of those to a Rest in Peace. I think Rest in Peace is an interesting card to have right now. I wanted to try one of those on the board. But we've got some cool ones. We've got a whole bunch of Dovin's Vetoes. These are, potentially good at stopping the ring. I'm a little bit worried about Halfling, but a lot of Dovin's Vetoes, some Dress Downs, that Rest in Peace I added, a couple Hallowed Moonlights, bunch of Wear Tears. The more Wear Tears you have, the better your Hammer matchup gets. But I don't think Hammer is super well positioned right now. I have not been seeing other people play it all that much, but it is pretty good at it's pretty good at beating up on that deck. And then a couple of Crumble to Dust. This is not a card I've played in a long time, but one of the things I was saying about Tron was that interacting with their lands in ways like Spreading Seas or Field of Ruin, these are not super effective ways of interacting with them, because the land is still there and they have a huge density of 4 mana massively impactful spells, right? So yes, you take them off Tron, but then they go, okay, here's a 4 mana Karn, or here's a 4 mana Ring. This actually destroys the land. And not only does it permanently take them off Tron, it also actually destroys the land in play, setting them back. It is 4 mana, so, potentially you're destroying a land and then they're just playing their 4th land drop anyways and still resolving the thing. But hey, we got a lot of force negations too, so who knows? So that's the deck. I do recognize, and I think a lot of you recognize as I see what's going on in the chat, the ring is broken. Yes. I fully agree that the ring is broken. I will be trying blue-white control with the ring in it. However, I'm going to be trying this build right now without it. I don't need everybody telling me I should be playing the ring. I get it. I know the card's broken. I think the card is going to be removed from the format in short order. It bums me out a little bit that we're going to play up into that point, kind of just wasting brain space on how to deal with this thing that I'm sure is going to get removed. But in the meantime, we're going to try this. Yes, there's a bunch of deluges. Those should probably be rings, but we're going to try them as deluges. I like this card. It's, it doesn't get blown out by Orcish Bowmasters. That's what I was saying earlier. Our card advantage things being Deluge and Narset, they don't get hit by Bowmasters. So kind of cool. It's another popular card. So that's what we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing this. Afterwards, I have an Abomination that we're going to be playing. That's all you get. You get to see that little glimpse of it. Don't worry about that. That's going to be after. Okay. Here's Blue-White Days. Coming from Azorian. Let's see how we can do with it. I've been really wanting to play some blue-white control, and I don't know exactly how I want to approach it right now with the format looking like it is. So having somebody else be like, here, approach it like this, was, it took that decision out of my hands, and it was like, all right, cool, I'll do that. It's kind of what I needed somebody to do, was just be like, play it, like this, though. Because I just can't decide how I want to play it. But I want to play it. I always want to play blue-white control. So let's see. Can't show me a deck list with Bloodbraid Elf and Talisman without fair warning. Did you see the Primal Surge in there too? There's a lot of things in there. Alright. We didn't get to play. That's scary. I'm going to reveal my Kahira. We got a one-lander, so probably going to have to throw this one back. A lot of nice cards, but I'm not in the market of keeping a one-lander here that looks like this. Alright. This one I like. So, as much as I would like to play the Colonnade on one, I think I need to play the Misty to get Rawgrin to then have the opportunity to ley line binding on 2 if necessary. I'm going to put back the island. I think we need to give ourselves the ability to potentially binding on 2. A sprawl. Okay. Having the force in my hand. They named white. Utopia sprawl named white. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Don't worry, Evan. You'll never get a dono from me without Tron hate. Good, good. That's been a big point that I know Tron's getting really popular, and I haven't figured out exactly how I want to approach attacking Tron properly. It seems hard to attack. I should have known. Okay, so it is Enchantress. I think I want to let this resolve and then binding it. The downside to that is if obviously that taps me out of counterspell, and if their follow-up play is Sithis, I wouldn't be able to answer it. So, I think I let it resolve. I go grab Rogren. I shock in Breeding Pool, and I just binding it. I have like so much creature removal in this deck that, you know, hopefully I'd be able to deal with it. That's not white mana. I got a sorcery speed this. It's a cast trigger. I'm not going to wait for them to get to draw a card here. I'm just going to deal with it. So the force takes me off counterspell, correct? But the idea with that was that if I force this, I would then have binding for a thing I could not force, which is Sithis. If I force that thing, oh no, Blood Moon? Nope. Yeah, it looks like maybe Blood Moon. We're going to have to force that. So I have a couple of options here. I'm not casting Days Undoing. I can play Misty to insulate myself a little bit better if they have a second Blood Moon. So I could play this to grab Island. I could play Celestial Colonnade to have that ready to go. I could play this, grab Island, and then grab Kahira, which shows them I don't have anything. I think I'm supposed to just play this and give myself like a chance if they just have another Blood Moon here. I'm definitely not just going to cast Days Undoing into them having 1,000,000 mana. Yeah, that means I can't counter things. Into a Sithis? Yep. Okay, no follow-up. Obviously, my best draw here would be a Verdict. We do have a lot of them in the deck. It would be pretty backbreaking if we find one. Okay. I'm gonna grab an Island. Denying them draws from, like, so far they have not gotten to draw a single card out of from their Enchantress effects. This is huge, right? They played a Presence when they didn't have any follow-up mana, so I was able to answer that without them drawing a card. They already played Sithis, I was able to answer that without them drawing a card. Whereas, like, so had I played that last turn differently, where I tapped out, they would have led. Oh, this is bad for me. They would have potentially led with the Sithis into the Destiny Spinner if I was representing counterspells. Oh, wow. Very good draw. And gotten to draw a card off that, but I have just continuously, like, every step along the way, prevented them from drawing cards, which is really good. This looks like a matchup where Narset is stellar, by the way. Just in general. A little bit of a scary turn. They have a binding of their own. That's going to get them back their presence, sure. They have 2 mana remaining, 1 card in hand. And unfortunately, they can cast it. It looks like maybe Sanctum Weaver, yeah. Not super good for me. Be a good time to draw a Narset. Very good time to draw a Narset. Alright, ending's not bad. I'm going to leave them with a lot of mana. I'm going to get rid of the presence again. I need to make it so every play they make is not drawing them cards. That's the most important deal here. You have a land. Sure. The good thing is, like, they have a lot of irrelevant draws right now in their deck. When their draws are not cantripping them, they have a lot of air right now. They also have a lot of scary ones. I'm getting lucky in drawing the things that answer those scary ones. This is a great draw. It's a great draw. Just thinking about whether or not I want to main phase it. Like, what I could hit that would... With 1 mana up, I'm probably trying to grab a land plus something. I guess counterspell. So if I grab, like, land plus counterspell, I wouldn't be able to play the land, you know, if I do it on their turn. So how about just all lands? Let's grab... Misty Hall. Just play the Hall here, so go. Hopefully they brick this turn, and I roll that. It's like pretty hard for them to draw something that does anything this turn with 0 cards in hand, because their best draws are the Enchantress effects, and if they get an Enchantress effect, it's not cantripping on its own, so it's more the next turn after. Okay, it's a redraw. But I'm lining up to be able to flashback that Deluge. I'm trying to cast this with an Narset. I'm just trying to find an Narset. If I can reset their, you know, effectively keep their hand where it's at, and then do this, and get my hand to 7, we're cooking. Nice. I'm also noticing they're at 15. We did get this Hall. Nice, nice, nice. This is big. We're catching the break we need. Verdict's fine. Just going to say go here. Plan on deluging. Yeah, if they're playing the ring, that's true. I didn't consider Enchantress could be playing the ring, but they could be. They find a presence. That is a good one. But again, like I said before, if they find one, you know, they then need another turn to start going off or whatever. You know, it's not going to immediately accrue them value because they have no other cards in their hand. Because we've been able to 1-for-1 everything. They haven't been able to get any card advantage on us. So we're going to cast that Deluge. No Narset. I did find a Force. Wow, that's quite the punish. There being that Force, I would have taken Force Days and forced that had I you know, I known this was going to be my selection. Well, I am going to take Force. The question is, am I taking Solitude or a land? I think we're just taking Solitude. Another Deluge. Definitely just going to cast that here. If I find a Narset, I'm just slamming it to turn off the presence. There's a Narset. Here we go. Slam Narset down. Turn off their presence. I don't even think I want to activate her. I think my whole plan is, like, this turn's probably nothing, and then I'm going to fairy, uptick, end step, Days Undoing, then start accruing value from my Narset. They'll go to 0 cards. They can't draw anything off presence here. Sterling Grove. Sterling Grove. Is that worth forcing? It's probably worth forcing. I'm about to daze anyways, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's probably worth forcing. That's their whole turn. They send back my way. They fetch. 2-turn clock with Hall now. It's funny, I'm at the point where like casting Daze and Doing isn't even that good. Like I'm almost better off just activating Narset. I've got Deluge. They can see. Well, a little bit punished for cutting Wear Tear there. What I was going to do was play that Teferi, uptick, let them draw their card for the turn before they get to their main phase, cast Daze Undoing, wheel their hand away to 0. I have 7 cards. They're not going to beat that. Their effective, you know, plays that game are... They're all just nullified by what I was doing. I'm going to bring in all those vetoes. I'm going to bring in Wear Tears. I think that is going to be it. At least trim a Verdict. Trim a Deluge. These are all great. Where do I make the rest of the room? I like the Planeswalkers. I like the Forces. If you can cut just like a key Enchantress piece, their deck just does not do a ton. For those asking, none of these other sideboard cards are anything I'm interested against them. They do have some really key creatures to be able to deal with, but, you know, maybe I can cut into my Solitudes a little bit here. I kind of feel like I could. Kind of feel like I could. We're playing 26 lands. Yeah, I mean, this is all just stuff I want to be doing. Whatever. 61's fine. I want access to a lot of this stuff. Oops, sorry about that. I stopped fiddling with the pen. Reveal Kahira. Just a bunch of counterspells. I mean, honestly, lands plus counterspells is something I'm interested in. Oh, hello. Hello, everybody from Spike. We're trying to play a little blue-white control. Just some good old-fashioned blue-white control. Thank you for the raid, Spike. So this hand is an issue if they turn to a Destiny Spinner here. Hey. Yeah. Definitely problematic if they just play that. Even just playing like a Sithis or something like that. This hand, I think, worked a lot better on the play. Maybe on the draw I needed to mulligan this. I could see that. If they just have a powerful 2 here, I'm in trouble. Looks like they do. If it's Sanctum Weaver, I'm hoping it's Sanctum Weaver. Giving them a lot of mana is scary, but Sterling Grove I'm fine with too. Sterling Grove is okay, as long as I don't let them resolve any of the good enchantments, then Sterling Grove is fine. I'm going to play Flooded Strand so that I can grab a Plains if they're able to like force through a Blood Moon somehow here. I don't know how they would, being that they would only be going up to 3 mana, so they wouldn't be able to like Veil plus Blood Moon, but... I guess it's a little bit awkward if they... Maybe I shouldn't have played that there. Yep. used to me being the one playing Enchantress. Enchantress is one of the other decks I really like playing. That is true. That is true. It does feel weird. But, I mean, if we're talking decks that I've played more of, nothing's going to beat out Control. Nothing's going to beat out Blue-White. It looks like the fact they had nothing on 3 there tells me that they are probably trying to resolve a 3-drop with a Veil here. Yeah, it's pretty likely. I'm going to grab an island here. And going to attempt to veto. I'm expecting this to get veiled. Oh, it didn't get veiled. Wow. Okay, this is big for us, because now we're going into, like, we have way more cards at hand than they do, right? They have 4, we're sitting on 6, and I've got double Counterspell ready to go. Ooh. Oh, wow. That's so good for us. Any of their cards just going towards mana and not accruing more cards is really, really good for us here. I can't believe that just resolved. I thought for sure Veil was coming there. It's another nice pickup. Yeah, I mean, now I've got, like, 2 pieces of interaction up. I'm feeling pretty good. Hey, Chrissy. I'm feeling pretty good about this one. They're just going to pass back. Interesting. I mean, if they're just passing back, I am interested in using Tear here, I think. I mean, it's as good as it's going to get as long as one of those is in play, right? So, yep, that's fine. Hey, what's up, Otto? They grab a Destiny Spinner. Yep. Sure. I'm just going to play out my Otawara. Just thinking... Yeah, I think this turn, especially with them drawing a Destiny Spinner, I need 2 pieces of... I need, like, 2 counterspells here. I need to be able to counter the Destiny Spinner, I think. Honestly, I could let the Destiny Spinner resolve and then Leyline Binding the Destiny Spinner now that the Sterling Grove is gone, and then counter something that they're expecting to be uncounterable. I don't hate that. This costs 3 right now. I'm just thinking about, like, do I want to make my binding cost less? My future bindings. Because I can just get planes here, which makes me, like, Blood Moon not even do anything. I mean, it takes me off multiple count. I'm probably supposed to counterspell the Blood Moon, because it just takes me off of countering multiple times. If I draw additional counter spells, it takes me off. Oh, I guess we're not playing Archmage's Charm, huh? I might be able to just let it happen. Nah, I think this makes sense. No. I'm not gonna let it happen. I'm gonna do this. I'm going to go Binding here into Counterspell. I guess I could go Teferi, bounce it, but then I'm like kind of committed to countering again. I want to be able to just like slam Teferi and have Counterspell up here. Slam Teferi, go up with Teferi, I think, and say go. Force Counterspell ready. It's definitely a question to... like whether or not I want to Binding that or what I want to do there. I'm not sure. I don't hate how that turn went, but probably could have been better. Binding. That's on either of these. It's kind of bad for me, so I'm just going to counter that. See what they got as a follow-up. Presence with one card in hand. I'm going to let it resolve. Maybe they get to cantrip. If they don't, I get to just bounce it with Teferi and then counter it with a hard cast force rather than having to pitch my force. So grab my Kahira, say go. Hard cast force on the way back. They sent back. Say go. I have the option of daze end step if I want. I don't think I want, but they do have 3 cards in hand. It would come back to me with a lot of mana. They have a good amount of mana, but I have a pretty good chance of just drawing a Narset, and that would make a lot of their draws really not good. I'm like kind of tempted to fire off this daze. Yeah, I think I might fire off this daze here to find an answer to that. A Narset, a binding, whatever. I think I'm going to. Great. Okay. So there you go. Their cards currently don't cantrip. If they lead things off with a binding, I'm going to just get rid of their presence right away. Like if they start off by binding, trying to bind Narset, I definitely want to just get rid of their presence. Greater Oromancy. They don't get to draw a card. Why not wear the binding? Why not wear the binding? If they binding it, then they get to draw 1 card. That's interesting. Maybe. Yeah, sure. I mean, they don't get to draw anything right now. I need them to not be able to answer this Narset. Right now, my plans are just like tear this, deluge, depending on what they do. Like if they don't do anything, I need to act right away. Them starting with this is definitely a tricky piece. I like that they're playing this. I was back on this card too. They're gonna cast Solitary Confinement. I mean, that doesn't do like anything right now. Sure. You can't draw additional cards. So they like if they do not have a way to answer Narset in their hand, not very good. Like, I'm guessing that was just bait, because that sure doesn't do anything. All right, they're passing, great. Cool. These are going to be the 4 cards I was going to see. Probably just take, like, Leyline Binding, Counterspell. And then I was going to use this to wear here. And then then I draw for turn, and then Narset would look at these. Probably take Force of Negation. Sweet. That deck, that's an interesting matchup. This build of blue-white is really good against them. Normally it's not that good. This was very good. Narset is very good. They would still draw 1 card each turn as long as they hit enchantments. That's true. That's true, actually. You're right. Because they don't draw for turn, then Narset doesn't. Yeah, that's true. I was going to break apart there. I mean, what we saw right there, technically, yes, I was going to go Wear, which they knew about on their Greater Oromancy, and then I was going to get rid of the binding, so they wouldn't be drawing anything. We got the play this time. Played against Fatcaster Mage. Played against them a lot. No lands. Yeah. Okay. It's a royal. We be honest though, Bowmaster's rampant. Their deck is terrible. Yeah, Enchantress is not a deck I've been trying to pick up myself lately, because it does seem pretty bad into what's going on. Seems pretty bad into what is popular right now. Kind of surprised to see Thoughtseize take my Solitude. Few more obvious deck tells with 1 card than Colonnade. Well, it was 2 cards because I also revealed a Kira. Oh, I was not hiding anything there. Hey, Sam, thank you for gifting that sub. Alright, let's play Otaro tomorrow, so you go. Opponent looking kind of scammy. Feel like Bowmaster's in my future here. Interesting. Okay. Did they see this verdict? No, I don't think they did. It's like a decent chance they have a scam spell to keep their Ragavan alive, though. Part of me wonders, like, so they missed a land drop there. So yeah, they probably have like a Feigned Death. If I draw a land in Verdict, and then they just have a 3/2 Ragavan standing after. I don't know what you mean by I don't get hit by it if I Verdict. I do, right? I could Binding. I could Binding the Ragavan, but that's like the gamble that if I miss my land, I wouldn't be able to bind. I'm going to have to bind the Ragavan anyways. Yeah, I'm actually just going to use the binding here on Ragavan. I really think that they have a Feigned Death. And if I bind now, it does a lot less damage. And if I miss the land, I'll really wish that I did. I'm actually gonna sandbag. Like I don't think I need to verdict yet. And they feign death of Bowmasters, but if I get rid of the Ragavan, I don't feel like I need to verdict right away anyways. And I'd be less concerned about them feign deathing the Bowmaster anyways. This one stings a bit. But, I mean, they're going to get 2 elementals here. Because there's that feign death. And now we have a clean verdict. Nice. A lot of potential here. A lot of potential. Nice redraw there for them. Ooh, no bodies with it, though, is actually huge. This means I can play Narset Activator, and she does not die just to the attack. Finding a land here is also pretty big. It means if I find a Leyline Binding, I can actually cast it. Or if I find 3 counter spells. That's also not terrible. And if I'm able to untap with her, which, you know, currently they have to do something. They have to commit something to the board to kill her. They're attacking her and passing. Each opponent. Sag it. Right. Well, I mean, sure seems like I should Daze Undoing. I can counterspell if they try to kill her in response. Sure. Great. I find a Force, which is pretty nice here. A Verdict to clean this up. This is great. I'm going to force that Thoughtseize into a Grief. Damn. Alright. Well, that's really bad for me. Obviously. We do have a lot of verdicts in the deck, though. There's 2 more, and I'm going to get to play this other Narset. Them having 2 pieces of hand disruption there is really painful. Wait. Oh my god. Dude, I made a huge error there. Brain went garbage there. The Daze Undoing ending my turn made me just like think I had no mana is what happened there. That was a brain fart. That was turn ending. I just thought I was tapped out, so that just happened. That was me being a goofball. Fortunately, Narset bails us out. Me pitching there just made me an absolute goofball. That was me being a goofball. All right, they drew a land. They do have Castle Locthwain, which they can draw cards on our turn, and they've got Seasoned Pyromancer over there. I'm gonna still Activator for sure. Another Narset. I like another Narset. Yeah, sorry about that. That was me just brain farting. I'm gonna play another Narset. Absolutely. Can you stop drawing Thoughtseizes, please? Sure. If they want to take Deluge, they can take Deluge. If they want to take Days Undoing, they can take. I don't care which one they take. Well, I care a little bit now. Go. Yeah, they go to 1. Yep. Okay. Playing against Rakdos Scam. Uh-oh. Oh boy. We do not have a particularly effective sideboard here, do we? I mean, this on 1 is fine. I think, like, maybe cutting 2 forces for 2 chalice is okay. It's, like, not often that I'm going to want to be casting Force of Negation against them. Rip's kind of funny, right? It, like, turns off the scam element. It also makes it so my verdicts are... I mean, I think forces are pretty bad most of the time against them, so I'm like kind of trying to see what I can do that has some text against it, like Rest in Peace, making it so like these are final. These are final, you know, they don't get the Season Pyromancers, they don't get to, and then like there's a little bit of, you know, awkwardness between Rip and Deluge, so I'm probably supposed to either cut another Force or another or a Deluge. I do think Force is pretty bad. No, I don't really like Dress Down in this matchup. But honestly, it might be better than Forces. I could see like taking out the Forces for that and then cutting like 1 Deluge. That's not terrible. Dress Down can be really awkward against them. Okay, sounds right. Dothy here? Sure. Interesting. I'm gonna prioritize the Chalice. The Chalice turns off more things. Turns off Thoughtseize. Turns off an additional Ragavan. Turns off a way to, save Dothy. An annoying follow-up here could be like Seasoned Pyromancer. Another Dothy's not the end of the world. Finding a fifth land means I can like make it to fairy play and then do this. I like buying time here. A fifth, finding a land that's untapped means I feel like I can go for this. Sure. So you go. If they kill Teferi, they can get their own Teferian, but a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile instead. If a card or token would be put into a graveyard, exile instead. Wonder how that's going to work. They are not going to cast. Huh. I'm going to play the other Teferi then. I'm guessing they have K-Command, and they're going to like K-Command here. Bowmasters. Sure. I am still going to bounce the Dothy so they can't play it Teferi. Yep. Play the Flooded Strand, so if I just get like punked by Moon, I guess. Yep. I think I'm okay to do this now. Gonna fetch the Steam Vents to get the 1 mana binding and then have Deluge up. I go to 3 here, but it's not like they can, they can't bolt me, they can't dash Ragavan or anything like that. I just don't want them to resolve it to Teferi. Okay. They're gonna probably pick some 1-drops. Fury and Ragavan. Don't want to play their other Dothy. I'm gonna hope that they go for casting a spell rather than just trying to pyro here. I don't think I can just play the rip. I'm going to hope that they try to cast something on their turn. If they just pass back and go to pyro, I'm kind of fucked. But I'm hoping they like don't do that immediately, and then I can rip to deal with it. And if they're going to cast anything, it's going to be at least 2 mana, so it's going to tap them out of the pyro. I am going to move to counter this. They have 2 cards in hand. Hoping they don't have much of a follow-up. Being at 2 is pretty scary. They do have a follow-up. It's another Seasoned Pyromancer. Very bad for me. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. Okay, so I can deluge, but in order to deluge, I have to go to 1 life. So I cannot find Solitude and be able to answer both of these. So I believe they have me here. Yeah. I could Kahira play Kahira actually. Hold on. Let's do that. Blood Moon's obviously bad. Okay, yeah, I can't beat that. Huh. Can I afford this because of losing to things like Fable and Blood Moon? Dressdown's pretty good against Seasoned Pyromancer. I'm very light on counter magic if I don't have these forces. It seems a fairy being like pretty meh. Man, forces are so bad. Lucky 61. I'm gonna mulligan that hand. Fortunately, they mulligan 2. They mulligan a 5. Okay. Am I allowed to try to fetch to be strong against Blood Moon where I could let it resolve here so I don't play a fetch on 1? So I go like Hollowed Fountain, tapped on turn 1, and to just get an island on turn 2? Perhaps. There you go. Hard mulliganing to scam is usually not a very good idea against control. I don't think that's what they're doing. Like, you can't mulligan a bunch of resources to find a way to, like, you know, spend 3 cards to Thoughtseize 2 cards or whatever. I cut deluges over forces on the play. Why cut I cut 1 deluge because I did bring in Rip, which obviously plays a little bit wonky with the deluge. Seiko. They missed a land drop. If I find another land drop, the game's over, I think. They missed again. Okay. Give me a land. Yeah, I'll do that. I think I take Chalice there. Maybe I'm supposed to take Counterspell. Okay. I was gonna draw, I don't know, something. Maybe it was better to take Counterspell there. Trying to just fetch around Blood Moon. I don't know. I feel like they made the mana a little awkward. That was good though. That was good. Taking down Scam. Yeah, I think you're supposed. Like if I'm bringing in the Rest in Peace, I feel like trimming on the Deluge is good. I think I like Force isn't very good, but they have a couple of bangers that like that opponent was really good at sequencing things to be like, correct. Force is not very good, but they're able to be like, you gotta answer this thing, and then I'd answer that thing, and they'd be like, and here's Blood Moon, and then I would just lose, right? So like having, or like here's Fable or something. So having like a couple forces to be able to not just die in those scenarios, I think was fine. The card is not stellar. I fully understand that. 2 for winning yourself is generally not good, but if it's stopping something that you're losing to, gotta do what you gotta do, you know? Scam isn't really 50-50. If they don't scam you turn 1, it's getting rough for them the rest of the game. Well, I mean, if they play Ragavan on turn 1, like this scam opponent is doing, then it looks pretty good for them. That's not scamming. Ooh. You don't think Rip is worth it? I think it is. I think stopping, fully turning off Feign Deaths. The thing is, it's not just preventing scam, right? Because I know they're trying to like scam on turn 1 or whatever. I think having 1 Rip is worth it because of Seasoned Pyromancers, Feign Deaths, blanking your verdicts. I mean, like that alone is really big. The fact that you have to be like, okay, verdict, and for 1 mana they can be like, actually, I still have a Ragavan. Like that's a huge issue. Or they're like, oh, actually, my Seasoned Pyromancer is coming back into play. Like I think the Singleton Rip actually does quite a bit. I am gonna 2 for 1 myself here. Feels bad, but. A lot of scam out, man. A lot of people playing scam right now. Really, really popular deck right now. Have a plan for it. Be ready for this deck. It is everywhere. It is everywhere. Bowmasters doesn't. Neither of those combo with Days Undoing at all. Days Undoing ends the turn and stops the triggers from those, J-Dub. I don't know what Esper version you're talking about, but neither of those cards work with Days Undoing. You cast Days Undoing, it ends the turn, and it stops all triggers on the stack, so neither of those cards trigger from Days Undoing. Yeah, I mean, Subtlety's an alright way to get him. Okay, so you're saying you think the Esper version is better for the scenario where you're able to have your Teferi and your Shieldred and cast Days Undoing on their turn? Like, I don't know, man. I don't live in Christmas land, but I guess if you do, go for it. Like, sure. If you think that makes that deck better, then go for it. I live on planet Earth, personally. Oh, this works out really nicely for us. This Force is going to be sick. Like, I don't have any cards in my hand, but neither do they now. They're going to have one card left in their hand. But the fact this isn't killing anything... Now they just have nothing. Narset would be our best draw here, probably. Counterspell's not bad. I was going to grab Kihira, but not anymore. Our record's 2-0. Sorry, the record thing is messed up right now. 2-0. We beat Enchantress and we beat Scam. Now we're playing against Scam again. Wow, they took Prismatic Ending over Counterspell? I can't believe that. Ooh, our win condition. They pitched a card for the Grief, so obviously they're forcing our hand. I have to do this. If their last card is a Feign Death, then they get to keep a Grief, and if it's not, well, I'm losing my counterspell anyway, so it doesn't matter. Might as well counter it. Not cracking these. Sure. Yeah, everyone says Colonnade has passed its prime, but you know what? It still does the thing. Big turn for them here. Big turn for them. It would make sense that they have a Feign Death in hand. Bolt would make sense in that Feign Death spot. I'm thinking like Feign Death because they did like the Grief pitch plan, but they could have just been doing that too. I'm just wondering if I'm ever supposed to force this. Narset is a lot better than Teferi here. No, I think if they had Pyro, they would just jam Pyro here, right? They had a turn where they just had 3 mana too last turn, right? Man, I kind of want to force this. Narset's so strong. Yeah, and it's so good against it, them having... That is true. If they end up with a Pyro, I'm going to force it. I think I'm good to do this. With the other Narset in my hand, I think I'm good to do this. Maybe I'm not supposed to attack, though, this turn. Maybe I'm supposed to just play the other Narset. I don't know. Alright, here we are once again. I'm going to cut 2 forces. I'm going to bring in 2 chalices. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut 1 Teferi. I think I'm supposed to play... I think Dress Down's, like, not that good against them. Like, there are some serious liabilities where, like, you go to Dress Down something, and then they're like, okay, here's a Fury for free. Which isn't the end of the world, but, I mean, it might kill you. It might kill you. I'm very torn on how I want to sideboard here. Like, these are the cards I'm looking at. Obviously, and then the chalices. And I don't know how I want to do this. I don't know how I want to do this. Whether it's, like, I mean, yeah, Deluge against the value deck, as long as they don't come out of the gates hot, Deluge is good. Though, it's pretty bad into Dothy. Though it's not that bad into Dothy. I don't get to flash it back, but they don't get to flash it back either. I mean, they can, but they look at 0 cards. Dress Down's really good at dealing with Saga tokens. Any matchup that has Urza's Saga, Dress Down pretty much comes in. It is primarily there to kill constructs. Whether that's the Breach deck or Hammer or whatever. Anything playing Saga, that's what it's there for. I think it's awkward here. I like, you can bring it in here. I'm just really not sure that you're supposed to. I do agree that I don't think Rip is that good, but I don't think it's not worth looking at. I'm kind of considering it over a Teferi, because I think Teferi's not that good either, and I think it's okay. I'm going to try it over the Teferi again. I think it's okay. The record's not working right now. We're 2-0. We're 2-0 and we're up a game. Sometimes after the update, it doesn't work. To be fair, I know sideboard pass what you just did when I play. Yeah, it might just be that, honestly. It might not be. It might just be swap a couple forces for a couple of chalices and you just call it a day. Yeah, I said that earlier, Sam. I said it stops the back half of Pyro, it stops Feign Death from saving things, and it stops scams that happen after, you know, turn 1 or whatever. Alright. I mean, it's clunky, but it's got a way to kill a turn 1 thing. Like, if they just open with Thoughtseize, that sucks, but... Kings, why do you have to be disgusting, dude? Fetch, shock, pass the turn. Interesting. I'm going to go Colonnade Go. Fetch Shock pass the turn. What is your favorite? Force of Negation rarity? Foil. I don't like etched cards. I have one instance of etched cards, and it's just because they're commanders. I just use original pack foils most of the time. So I just have MH1, 2, MH1 copies. Turn 1 Fetch Shock. Turn 2 what? What are you doing? Ragavan, you were thinking about dashing it. You decided not to play it. So either you just drew that, or you were planning on playing it turn 1, then decided not to, then to play around Prismatic Ending, and then decided to just play it? Weird. Gold Blood Moon versus Full Art? Ugh. I just use 9th editions. No. What's the better scenario here? Let them take 2 cards and have a thing left, and I'm left with 1 card, or throw my whole hand at this grief. They just pitched a Dothy to cast it. I guess like any 1 card I'm left with here is actually kind of okay. Like, I mean, if they just leave me with Solid. The thing is, like, they have to take the Solitude first, or else if they go for the Feign Death. So the Solitude has to be one of them, and then they have to leave me with one of these 2 4-mana cards, and both of them are pretty good. So I think I just let them do it. Like, they have to take the Solitude first, or else, like, so I can Solitude it right now. That commits my whole hand into it. Then I have to pitch Verdict. They get 1 Grief Look. They take Deluge. Or I can let this happen, and they have to take the Solitude. Otherwise, I throw my whole hand in it, but I also get a Feign Death out of their hand. So I'm just going to let this happen. They have to take Solitude, and then they get to take 1 of my 4 drops. One of them answers it. The other draws me 2 cards. So I'm not going to throw my whole hand at it. Puts Deluge in grave, so what's the worry? The worry is that it'll be a 4/3, I'll have no cards in hand, and Deluge costs 7 mana if it's in my graveyard. They actually don't have to take Solitude. That's true, they can take Verdict, you're right. You're right, never mind. They can take Verdict first so that I don't have a white card to pitch. Yep, that's true. Which they do. Yeah, okay, that is true, I forgot about that. I didn't think about that. And then they take Deluge, and then they leave me with a Solitude, sure. But, I mean, I don't know. I think this is fine-ish. It's not great. I think it's fine-ish. What's a good draw here? Gosh, I'm not sure. I don't have a super clean draw here, do I? I don't really have a clean draw here. Grab the Zagoth. Well, that lets me get a Plains under a Blood Moon. I have an island here. Grab Kahira. Say go. I didn't think about that. I'm glad you guys pointed that out. I did not think about the fact they could take the verdict. That was a really good point. I'm not gonna like pitch Solitude here. Kahira can't block this, but I do think I grab Kahira. I think I can take 2 hits, go to 10, and cast Solitude, and in the interim, I can cast Kahira to just be a presence in play to interact with these things. That's fine. Oh, they're gonna, what's it called? They're gonna, oh no, they're not. I was gonna say the Burning Inquiry. Brought Teferi. Teferi's not very good here. I think I just play Kahira, which, you know, interacts alright with these guys. Interacts with the board alright with these guys. And then next turn I have Solitude, the Grief. Grief's a 4/3 lifelink vigilance if Kahira lives. I'm not in the worst spot. If they have hardcast Grief here, that sucks. Bolt. Okay. Well, you say I have plenty of life, but this is just lethal next turn. They have 1 card in hand. They know about the Solitude. Thoughtseize. Alright. Well, you know what I'm going to do, opponent. I'm like fine into Blood Moon here. They have 1 card in hand. Both cards in my hand are fine. If they can't kill my Solitude, I feel okay. They can't kill my Solitude. So now I'm going to go here, Teferi up, say go. They drew a Grief. I think they drew a Grief. Or Fury. Oh no, that was, oh no, they drew Fury. Terrible. Oh, terrible. So bad for me. Wow. That's so bad for me. I could have bounced, right? If I could bounce the Bowmasters. Anything else I bounce there, the Teferi dies because there's a Bowmasters in place. So I draw a card, he'd go to 1, and they'd ping him to 1. They left him there. They have no cards in hand. Meant our own Solitude. Yeah, and then I lose my Teferi and can't cast Solitude. I could play it, I could bounce it, it would pick up Solitude, they'd kill Teferi, and I would have a Solitude with 3 mana up and no way to... I mean, that wouldn't be very good. I think you plus an attack there. Maybe I'm supposed to attack. My only out deluging for white card Solitude. And then just hoping to go from there. I have Colonnade that can block for a turn. I can take one more draw. I think that's actually the out. Get a draw towards Verdict. I go to 2, which means I technically can use the Teferi. Go to 1. Or they kill the Teferi. What is this? Surgical Solitude. Okay. Go, go, Colonnade. Save me. Boom. Colonnade trading with a Fury. Kind of sick. Alright, we draw. I can't draw. I don't think I can draw anything here. I mean, I guess Verdict, yeah. I guess Verdict. I bounce this. They get a token back. They ping. Where do you want to throw the ping? At me. Alright, let's try it again. Try it on the plate. Bounce the Bowmaster. Oh, you know what? I could have bounced the Bowmasters. But then the Verdict isn't an out anymore. But if I bounce the Bowmasters, I was like, oh, they just recast it. They can't because I have the Teferi, is the thing. Since I have the Teferi, they can't immediately replay it. They don't get the trigger if I bounce the Bowmasters, do they? Do they get the trigger if I bounce Teferi? If I bounce it with Teferi? If it's no trigger, then I bounce. If I find an answer for the token, then I don't die right away. And I literally drew a counter spell. But they pinged me, so if I'd made that play... Oh, but they wouldn't have had the ping. But, yeah, no, actually, if I bounced the Bowmasters, I could have countered the Bowmasters, and then I take 1. So, bouncing there made counterspell an out, which we did draw. I wonder which one had more outs. I wonder which bounce there had more outs. I don't know. I'm just going to run it back the way it is. Dude, Scam has gotten so good. Bowmasters was such a good inclusion. Nope, I guess I'll say it like a 15th time. I don't want dress down. Again, that's been the thing I keep saying. Come on, Sam, pay attention, man. You're the one who's asked it several times, and I keep saying no. We keep looking at Dress Down, and we keep looking at those various sideboard cards, and I keep saying, I don't think you bring that in. Sure. It's okay, Sam. You just have to recognize on the other side it can be a little frustrating, that's all. I'm not mad at you, it's just a little annoying. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Oh yeah, I mean that's the story of a control deck since the beginning of time, Chaos. So you have to have things that line up, and if you don't, then your deck doesn't do anything. That is the problem with playing a reactive deck, is you have to have the right reactive cards. That's why it's it is often far more rewarding to play a proactive deck, because you care less about what your opponent's doing, and you don't need your things to line up against, like, you don't need answers that line up against what they're doing, you just need to kill them. It's much better to be proactive. But I've been cursed with blue-white control. I will always want to play blue-white control. That is the curse I bear. Reacting in every format. Hammer's the first thing that got me to, like, really break that shell, you know? It's my most hated deck in Modern. Like, what I most hate to play against. All of them. I really don't like Modern since Lord of the Rings. But, I mean, I'm just playing it. Just doing my thing. Playing it. But, like, you know, Ring and Bowmasters are both really frustrating. It's play 'em or join 'em kind of thing. Or play 'em or... No, it's play 'em or get fucked by 'em is what it is. Yeah, play 'em or join 'em. This is the same thing. You have to choose one of them. It's the same option. If you can't beat them, join them. No, it's you can't beat them, so join them. I'm going to grab an island here. I'm going to cast Narset, and I'm going to leave up white in case I draw a binding. Probably going to bolter or something. Perfect, sure. I think we're probably dead. They got to the scam thing. They left my hand anemic, and I'm just losing too much life in two big chunks. I'd rather play Legacy or Pioneer. Legacy. Fucking hate Pioneer. Legacy for sure. Right now, I think Legacy is the most fun deck, or most fun format. Modern is fine. And Pioneer is terrible. That's where I'm at. I can't understand those who say the Ring is an updated version of Jace the Mind Sculptor. Like, come on. What do you mean by you can't understand it? It's a 4-mana colorless play. I mean, it is an upgraded version of it. I mean, it is. It is a card advantage engine that is colorless and also gives you protection the turn you play it, and buries your opponent in cards. Like, that's the idea. Yep. It's got to be better to use it on the Ragavan and just keep counterspell up, right? I could tap out, do this, and let them connect with Ragavan. I think I might actually just need more draws. Like, I think I just need to roll the dice and say, I gotta kill the grief. Our top decks don't really help them. Really? Teferi? Narset? I mean, there's some pretty good cards they could hit. There's some good ones in there. Like, if they hit a Teferi right now, my hand goes to 0. Fortunately, they hit a land. That's true. That's true, actually. They couldn't cast it the first turn. They'd have to cast it the second turn, and then I'd have counterspell. You know what? I take it all back. Take it all back. I'm used to those, you know, the decks that hit me with Ragavan being blue decks, so they usually only have to hit once. Kahira. How are they casting Teferi? With their treasure tokens, man. Obviously, I misthought about it, okay? Just shut up. This is what we were talking about, kings. Sure. You're gonna draw cards. Say go. You're having fun. Well, no, you don't get to. I don't know. That was fun for me. I generally don't like when people have fun at my expense. Oh boy. Well, that's a deluge. They sure could cast that one. King's got timed. He gets timed all the time, dude. He's like the most timed out person here. He doesn't understand how genuinely upset he makes me. It doesn't get into his skull how genuinely upset he makes me. So I need to like always get him out when he goes too far. No, they're gonna cast it. I mean, this forces me to counterspell for sure. Surely, right? They get 2 cards, but they are limited on their mana. They are limited on their mana. I could let it resolve, then play Kahira and have counterspell up. And like, if I counterspell this, then they get 2 mana to follow it up with something that then Kahira might not stabilize the board. But if I let this resolve, I can counter whatever the follow-up is. Dude, I actually think I just let this shit resolve. And then I Kahira with counterspell. Because the problem is if I counter this, I'm tapped out, and then they go like Dothy or something. And it's like, alright, well now I'm just dead. Right? Like, not fully dead, but kind of just dead. Whereas, if this resolves, they're still limited on their mana. And then I could counter a follow-up, and then play Kahira and counter a follow-up. I think you are not supposed to counter this. No, I think you're not supposed to counter this. I think you lose the game if you counter this. You might lose the game with it resolving. The game might already be lost. However, I think if you counter this, you lose the game. If they are able to get 2 1-mana plays here that are effective, like if they lead with like Thoughtseize and then, or they have a land and then they have Thoughtseize plus a thing. Grief. Pitching Undying Malice. Sure. I get to take a hero here. I think if I counter it, I lose the game. I'm standing by that. I think if I counter that, I lose the game. I think I might lose the game anyways, but I'm pretty sure if I counter it, I lose the game as well. Yeah, you want to cast that one? By all means. Do it. I know you can't, but do it. This is match 3. It's a long league. We're almost 2 hours in. It's a long league. I'm getting all these. It was back-to-back scam matchups, and they are long, very long. And our opponents have been very liberal with their clocks. Masters. Surgical Solitude. Okay. They really like surgically my solitudes. I am going to be cracking this fetch and going to 2. I've got that Deluge in the bin, and I know I'm going to need the mana. Yeah, I mean, I'm countering that. Yeah, it's game 3. It's just a lethal threat. If they have a bolt, they have a bolt. It is what it is. just keep the Days Undoing, and I go for it, right? Discard counterspell, they play it. I keep the Days Undoing, and I hope to draw another Binding. Uh-oh. Triple black. Quad black? Whoa, fuck! That's so sick. That's so sick. They just didn't go for it and they griefed instead. Yeah, that's awesome. Just take Days Undoing. Yeah, they killed me. Ah. That was well played. Them having that grief there was so brutal. Whew, this is exhausting. Okay. Yep. Alright, let me use the restroom. Alright. Drank some water. Refreshed a bit. Brutal. That was brutal. That was a heartbreaker. Let's keep trying. 2-1. Tough deck to compete with. Very, very, very popular. Very popular right now. I'm seeing it 2+ times a league. I need to have a better game plan there. I don't know what, though. I'd like to have some kind of a hammer for that matchup. Something. I know it's like it's a mid-range deck, and that's not the kind of deck you can usually just have something that stomps them. But I mean, what could you have? You know, I mean, they Leyline of Sanctity. It's, I don't know. I don't know what to do against that. But that deck is so popular. I'd really like to have something, but I don't know what you can do. They just grief it. The only thing you can do is have something like Leyline in your opener. Sure. sideboard? That's awesome. You sure you're looking at the right version? That'd be weird if reflecting pool was that much. I think there's 2 different versions of them. Are you sure you opened the right one? Because is it a surge foil or is it this $10 normal one? Right, but is it a foil or is it a surge foil? I'll show you. Does it just look like a normal foil? Or does it look like this? This is the one that's expensive. The one that has that like crazy rainbowy foil. Turn one Ragavan again. At least it's not scam this time. Yeah, yours is like $15 though. Still sweet. Still a cool one. I'm gonna go for the ending here. Yeah, I just know there were some different printings and whatnot with that set, so. Easy thing to mix up. I just figured reflecting pool wouldn't be that expensive, being I just got a foil of another reflecting pool for $4, so. So I figured there's probably something not right there. Obviously missing land there is pretty devastating. I fetched, which you know, does lower my chances of drawing a land, but I'm getting these out of the deck, you know. Yeah, sometimes it's out of your control. We're not in the days of the cantrips, you know. We're not in the days of playing all the cantrips to help smooth our land drops out. We don't have time for cantrips anymore. You try to cantrip and you die. They are going to try to Blood Moon me. Yeah, they have Spell Pierce, so they're going to try to Blood Moon me plus Spell Pierce, and I'm just going to go counter Spell plus Force. It was pretty obvious they had the Spell Pierce there, I think, with the way things have played out. That blue man has always been looming. I wasn't sure if they had the Blood Moon main deck. I knew it would look pretty ugly if they did, but... Oh, wow. No Spell Pierce, huh? I would have said for sure 100% Spell Pierce there. Interesting. That makes me want to main phase this. With Force up? I think I do. Do I want the other Days Undoing just to have a pitch for force? Like, I'm taking Windswept here. Or do I want the Prismatic Ending to just be able to kill here? Cleanly. I think I just take the Prismatic Ending. Hey, what's up, Jess? EI. Yeah. Yep. Jess hitting our goal. Oh my goodness, Jess. Thank you so much for hitting our do a challenge in a costume goal. That's very exciting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We get to do our poll now to have people vote on the costume. The not again. Had to make it be exactly 300. Well, thank you, Jess. That was very nice. Alright, we're going to have people vote. Alien, monkey, or goblin? What will it be? Only time will tell. Ooh, okay. They're going for a Murktide here. Be a good time to draw a verdict, get a nice little 2-for-1. Obviously, like, I have answers for it, but it'd be nice to be able to, like, swipe a little 2-for-1. There it is. And I even can go Prismatic Ending plus Binding and like not be worried about Spell Pierce and have Force up. Ah, Kings with the Tilt. You got a new gift sub badge. Oh shit, you did. Oh my god, just 650. That's embarrassing for me. I can't believe you've done that. Oh my god. I feel so undeserving of that. That is such a crazy number. Oh, Jess, genius. Well, feel bad because I feel undeserving of it. Bolt on the way out. Get that surveil trigger. If this is an EI, I will force that. If they have a follow-up Blood Moon, they've got to follow up Blood Moon. But I'm gonna like maybe they use a counterspell here because they haven't had a counterspell yet. If they counterspell this, that's okay. It's less mana for them to like pop off with the EI, whatever. If they crack Islet in response, maybe looking for a Spell Pierce. Ooh, that just happens. And with the Islet crack, that means there's like not going to be a substantial follow-up. That's good. I'm going to say go with Hardcast Solitude ready. I think even if they don't play anything here, I kind of want to cast the Solitude to start padding my life total. They have another EI. Oh. They don't. Okay. Because I don't want to die just like 2 lightning bolts. I need to crack this. Surely they don't have 2 bolts. Because I need to be able to binding and solitude here. I think I just cast the solitude. It kind of sucks. I want the solitude to resolve, but I don't know if they'll counter the binding if I just cast binding. I think I'm going to cast this. They're probably going to counter it. Yeah, maybe they didn't counter the other thing, so maybe they don't have it. But I had to crack there because this couldn't find a plains. Okay, that is resolving. That's pretty big. Blue. What would this be? Blue? Slip out the back. Oh man. Well, I want to use my mana here, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and attempt a binding. The reason for that is I'm 1 mana off of flashing back Deluge, so I'd rather do this now and deal with the Ragavan, so that if I draw a land, I can cast the. They only have 1 card in hand. If I draw a land, I can cast the Deluge. Slip out the back. The monkey just whoop, right out the back. Nice, very nice. Let's main phase it. Narset Force for emergencies, I guess. And we have Narset Days next turn. Unless I have to force something. Heat would make a lot of sense here. Heat would make a lot of sense. Subtlety? Wow. Okay. Interesting Murktide list. Definitely going to put that on top. Definitely just going to binding this. Force now at the ready to hard cast on their turn if they draw like an EI or something, which they did. Yeah, maybe it isn't. Is it scam list? Maybe, but they had Murktide too. I don't know. Is it scam still DRC, Ragavan, and Murktide? I don't know if I daze here or not. If I daze and their hand is exactly Unholy Heat, which would make a lot of sense to be their last card. What do you guys think? Do you go for it here, or do you just activate Narset? If you activate Narset, she dies to a bolt too. Let's do it. Fantastic! That worked out. DRC, Ragavan, Murktide, and Subtlety, and main deck Blood Moon. Oh boy. And Slip Out the Back. Slip Out the Back. That's why it's obviously scam. Of course it's scam. They had Slip Out the Back. What am I even thinking? This is that blue-red scam deck. Why else would they have slip out the back? Of course this is the blue-red scam deck. That should have set every alarm off in my brain. Instead I was just like, oh, that's a cute trick to save your thing. I probably want Chalice. Probably. Maybe. Did I save that deck? I don't think I did. What's the scam part? They have slip out the back, subtlety, and fury. I mean, I guess I want Rest in Peace too. The DRC, Murktide. No, Rest in Peace doesn't work against their scam thing because it's slip out the back. It doesn't actually interact with the graveyard. I mean, but Rest in Peace is still okay. Turning off Delirium on Heat is huge for the exact situation we were just in. I'm gonna bring them both in. Where am I cutting? Where am I cutting? I kind of want to cut a Verdict. And like a Deluge. I kind of want to cut a counter spell on the draw. Pretty bad on the draw. The forces are kind of sketchy. But it lets me stop a turn 1 Fury if they go for that shit. Alright. I'm probably not sideboarding correctly, but... yeah, it's a bolus. It's going alright. Chilling. Going pretty well. I got lands and I've got answers to permanents, sure. There's a blue-white list. It's a blue-white list. You know, fighting our best fight. Well, we're 2-1 right now, and we're up a game in match 4. I don't know, maybe. We played against, yeah, it's been over 2 hours. We played against back-to-back Rakdos Scam, and that means things took a long time. Now I'm going to play Zagoth. That lets me go for a 2-mana binding. I don't want to just like jam Teferi into this mana. But yeah, it's been a very long league. The scam matchups were very, very long. It was Scam, Enchantress. Okay, I'm gonna binding the DRC, then I'm gonna Teferi bounce the, well, attempt to Teferi bounce the token. If they have Solitude, they have or Subtlety, whatever. I want to get rid of this because I want the possibility of keeping Teferi if he resolves. Yeah, they're playing the blue-red scam deck. Yeah, it's not good. Scamming a subtlety is not something you want to be doing. They have Fury to scam, but scamming a subtlety is not impressive. I saw the list, I was like, ooh, I gotta try that. And then without even trying it, I was like, wait a minute, no, I don't. I feel like I have enough of a brain to be able to like work out that this is not something you want to do. Why not binding the enchantment? I had the Solitude, so I was okay with them doing the loot. I wanted to get rid of the DRC, go for the Teferi to bounce the Goblin. Kind of expected that to get knocked, but then when the Fable flips, use the Solitude to kill the Fable. Or Wrath, honestly, if they play another body. I liked going for the Teferi when they had no mana open. Was why. I liked taking the opportunity to try to get the Teferi down rather than just going for the Wrath that I knew was going to happen. I saw a window where they were fully tapped out and they would have to have Force or Subtlety in order to stop the Teferi from hitting. And if it did, you know, it turned off a large portion of their deck. I'm going to go for this, see if they Subtlety it, and if they Subtlety it, I can Verdict. I just really valued taking a window to get Teferi in play, basically. Seems really, really strong in this matchup, so. I am going to put it on top. And now I'm going to get to Verdict both of these. And have a Subtlety or a Solitude left over. Oh, fuck. Oh, no, because taps are green. I was like, wait, I just tapped out of him. I wanted to grab Kahira, play Kahira this turn. I thought I just tapped out of casting Kahira. Opened 6 packs, found maybe $10 worth of cards. Oh no. Yeah, I haven't opened Magic product in a very long time. I just buy the singles I need. I almost did with this one. I almost did. Ah, they're gonna go for the Fury. Okay. Tapping out for it too, so I don't have to worry about slip on the back. They could have another Subtlety and a blue card, but hopefully they don't. Narset off the top. I've never bought it, but Will Hall gave it to me for free. Oh, that's awesome! You won a box? That's sick. That's very sick. Do I just fire up? I think so. Like, kind of sucks if they Blood Moon me and are able to kill the Solitude. Like, if they went for Blood Moon, I would have been able to, like, flash in Solitude and then have a ton of pressure. So, hopefully they don't do that, I guess. Now that Flooded Strand lets me at least not just be like stone dead to a Blood Moon. Yeah, they're like, it's just, they have Murktide, DRC, Ragavan, like all of these cards are in the deck. It's a very weird deck. It's a very, very weird deck. Alright, well, just jamming Hall was the move. Like I said, I was like, I was very close to trying. Yeah, it's Fable 2. I saw the deck, it was posted in our Discord, and I was really close to trying it, and then I like looked over it more, and I looked over it more, and I was like, this doesn't work. Like, it was some 5-0 that someone got or something, and I was like, oh, that looks awesome. And then just the more I looked at it, I was just like, that's not good. It's cool, though. It's like a really cool deck. But yeah. Actually, that would have been Mana Leak. He said beating counterspells. Mana Leak is a counterspell. What are you smoking, Kings? Their hand was counterspells. That's just another counterspell. They didn't specify what counterspell. They just said counterspells. But it wasn't just literal counterspell. They had Force of Negation in their hand. It was counterspells. Land, beat counterspells. Damn it. Sure. Not a great hand, but... No. No, please. Oh, my heart can only take so much scam in one day, dude. Okay. I'm gonna let it connect. Then Flooded Strand, grab a Triome, binding it. Yeah, it's not very good against my deck, buddy. You can gas one of those if you want. Well, whatever. I'm not playing 4-color. I know you thought I was playing 4-color. I'm not playing 4-color. No way do you not attack with Dothy there. Not a shot do you not attack with Daunty there. God, scam 3 times this league. I'm telling you, man, it's all over Modern right now. It's all over Modern. It's really everywhere. No, 3 times. Oh, 4 times. You're right. I take it back. That was technically a scam deck. You're right. Red-black scam 3 times. You got me there, Kings. Do we have breeding pools who have cleared the board last turn? How would that have cleared the board? If I had Rogren and then got breeding pool, what would that have done? I can't cast 2 white removal spells if I get breeding pool though. What do you mean by clear? I don't. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. All right. Yeah, I mean this kind of back and forth works out for us with a deluge in our graveyard. Force in our hand isn't terrible. Binding's not bad. Grief's their best draw, probably. Right? Takanuma. This could miss. Fury. Orcish. Bowmasters. Fuck. They pick up Fury! What? Take the Bowmasters there. That's so much better. I can't believe they took Fury there. That was the other trio. Oh, the... What one? Which did you think it was? I'm gonna go... I'm gonna go for Binding. I'm gonna go for Binding. Because same situation as last time, I'm 1 mana off of the Deluge, so I want to give myself the chance. Like I'd rather use the Verdict there, but it gives me the ability to rip the land and be able to just go for it. Oh shit! Slow down, Evan. Why would they not take the Bowmasters, the one that would makes me right? I don't think there is one that does, because there's. Like what, the Bant one doesn't change it with Breeding Pool because that's 4. I don't know which one you mean. I'm going to make you get it right, Master Mike. Which one did you mean? Tell me. What did you mean? Same reason I'm using that counter spell. I just want to draw land. Alright. Sparrows wouldn't have made a difference, though! Because then why would he be asking about a breeding pool? Sparrows has both of those! It doesn't work! It never worked! What am I playing, Savai or something? Ooh, stop it. Stop. Don't do that. Stop. Oh, okay. You can do that. going to do the same thing. I'm sticking by it. This is what I want to do. I want to have the window to cast it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Now we get to Deluge. I'm going to 8. Sure. You get to connect with the monkey. And that's why I didn't want to use the ley line bindings, because it's one of my answers for the monkey. Like, I don't want the sorcery speed sweeper, I want the instant speed interaction for monkeys. Oh, the no double blue. Oh, the no double blue. I was like, oh shit, that's so bad. Got a dodge hand disruption this turn. Fuck me! I needed to kill that Dothy. Yep. Now they cast Narset. Yep. You got it, boss. They get an Undying Malice into their hand. Honestly, sure. I'm just gonna binding it. Or not binding it, ending it. They can't Malice. I'm just gonna verdict here. They can't Malice it. Sure. It's a pretty good one. I think I'm supposed to do this. Feels like that was probably the play. I mean, I want to keep the fairy around, so. I know they have 3 cards in hand, and this is kind of scary, but like they could just Fury wipe them both now and kill me, but I don't know. I think I'm supposed to do that. Grief, sure. Yeah. Big draw here. That's a decent one. These are such slugfests, man. Oh, brutal. Double? Double Bowmasters. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense that they didn't want to block their kings. Wow, double Bowmasters. Come on, Verdict. Come on, Verdict. Come on, Verdict. That's not bad. That's not bad. That is not bad. It's not bad at all. That is not bad at all. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're doing it. I'm not playing a land. I want them to think I'm drawing spells here. I'm not playing a land. I need them to pick their cards up, and they're not going to do it if I'm just playing out lands, but you know, if I'm holding them. Now I'll play one. So I can obviously deluge plus counterspell. Yeah, baby! Ooh-wee! Winning that one felt pretty good. Woo! That felt good, dude. The double Bowmaster there, follow up. Wow, that felt good. Alright, we just gotta take the match. What are we doing? How are we doing it the final time against Scam? How are we doing it? What are we doing? We just doing this? Should I just do the 2 chalices and take out 2 forces, call it a day? Should I try the rip? Whew, what a game. What a game. What a game. Incredible. Let's try just the chalices. I'm actually going to keep this hand. It's so good against turn 1 Grief Scam. Your scam has no power here, opponent. Blood Moon. That's what I thought. We're chilling. We're just chilling. We are in full chill mode. These draws have been very good. I'm waiting again then. Very easy for them to just not have a play this turn. They might, but very easy for them to not. And then I just get to play Teferi with the counterspell up. Grabbing my planes here. I mean, that's what I was trying to play around. I didn't want to deploy Teferi until I had a counterspell. Oh, they have Fury. Okay. Yeah. Last card in hand is Fury. Sure. See if they want to kill Teferi or not. They're gonna chunk me. I might have killed Teferi. Because now I get to block. And then Teferi gets to bounce it. And then I get to counter it. Unless they, you know, make me counter something else here, but... Chalice is a nice draw. Nice. Well, I knew they had that Fury. Oh, that's their best draw here. I knew they had that Fury. I just put it in their hand. Dude! What the fuck? I had this game wrapped up. Brutal. Wow. Wow! I had this game absolutely bagged here. That sucks. I had this game absolutely bagged. I mean, I didn't. I needed a thing, but they drew that into that. Like, come on. That's so awful. Oh, suck me, dude. Whatever. You got it. I mean, yeah, when you got it, you got it. Whatever. You're going to play that hard into Verdict. All right, well, I'm going to draw it. Binding. Verdict. Bounce Moon. to play through all that and then have that be the way things end, you know. So brutal. So brutal. So brutal. It's funny, like those are honestly like the worst cards for us in the matchup. Season Pyromancer especially. You all get a 6. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes, okay. We get a window. I'm just going to hold up the counterspell. I'm not going to go for the Chalice. I think I got to be able to counter Dothy into play Narset or something. They're going to like grief me after this maybe. And this way if I miss the land, I play the Chalice, but... maybe I should have gotten rid of the Binding instead of the Teferi. I forgot like this is still happening, so I'm losing this, but... Land. If I'm not drawing a land, that's my best draw. I mean, I hate doing this because it's not using it on a Season Pyro, but... Come on. Come on. Come on. Land, land. Come on. Oh, they can't scam it. They pitch the Thoughtseize, they can't scam it. Okay, 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 okay. One more. One more. Yeah, whatever. Oh man, we're only on 1 planes, aren't we? Play 2 planes in your deck. Yeah, play 2 planes in your deck for sure. I'm on 2 planes like every time with control now. You gotta play 2 planes. Yeah, that's game. You gotta play 2 planes in your deck. I know that's not like, it wouldn't make that big of a difference here, but like put 2 planes in your deck, especially if you're on 26 lands. Well, scam is everywhere. Scam is everywhere. Have a plan for it. It is absolutely everywhere. It is 60% of your league, man. Be ready to play against this. I'm not saying like we have necessarily a bad matchup against them. Just know that like you need to have a plan against scam. Because you are going to play against this deck endlessly. And that is why we're only going to play Legacy from now on. I quit Pioneer because it became all red-black mirrors. So I guess I'm quitting Modern too. I guess I'm just quitting Modern too. Until it's fixed. But it won't be fixed because Bowmaster's not the card that's going to get banned. It's going to be the ring. We're going to have to deal with that. Anyways, we 3-2'd. Not too bad. Format's a mess, but this was kind of fun. It was actually pretty good time. I actually liked the Narset Days Undoing plan quite a bit. Definitely get a second plains in here. For sure. Let's see. How many fetches are we playing? Especially if you're going to have the Windswept Heath. Having a non-blue fetch. Let's see. 1, 2, 10 fetches. 2 triomes. I mean, it should just be over the colonnade, honestly, but... Oh, there's 3 fountains. Yeah, take out a fountain for... easily. I didn't realize there were 3 fountains. Cut a fountain for another plains easily. It's 9 o'clock, stream over. It's 7:45, we're starting our second league. Sideboard was fine. I'd like to think about, like, if there's something I can do for a scam, though. If it's going to be that prevalent, and honestly, man, like, if they couldn't touch our hand, I might be crazy, but, like, maybe Leyline is honestly a reasonable thing to think about. Maybe. Maybe Leyline of Sanctity is actually something to think about. Sanctifier's Purge? No, they just take that stuff out of your hand, you know? But, like, maybe... No. Leyline of Sanctity. Maybe Leyline of Sanctity. I don't care about the graveyard. Well, I care a little bit about the graveyard, but I don't care that much about the graveyard. But maybe Leyline of Sanctity so they can't touch our hand. And then extra ones are pitchable to Solitude. Maybe Leyline of Sanctity. That might be terrible, but... Alright, I'm going to use the restroom, and then we're going to play this. You get 3 seconds to look at it. 3, 2, 1...